Hi again, YouTubers. So this is a new style of video for me. I have never done this before. This is a favorite fall meals video. When I stopped doing my vlogs, what the most requested thing from me was people were missing about my vlogs were dinner recipes that I used to do. So I kind of did these two different ways. I tried them with setting up a camera and kind of showing you how I did them, and then I did a couple of them just with holding the camera and showing you as I did them. The recipes I make are a meatloaf recipe that is a favorite of ours. I make a chili recipe that is a favorite of ours. I make, if you remember, if you were ever, I don't know if this is an East Coast thing or what, but we used to have Ron Reed's chicken when we were a kid. I call it creamy Crockpot chicken, super easy. And a fairly quick and easy stuffed shells recipe. Marty always says to me, he's like, you know you can buy stuffed shells, but something about making stuffed shells yourself just is a nice, warm comfort food. So I really like that. So I did all 4 recipes for you. Please let me know which style you kind of like better, whether you like seeing me set up and me stationary, or you would rather see kind of me holding the camera and showing you guys as I do it. Both ways work for me. Sometimes one work better than another, but since it's been requested, here are my fall favorite meals. All right guys, so this is my first video in this series, and it is our meatloaf kind of recipe. It is not anything that is specific measurements. It is just quite simply something that we've done and changed as we've gone along. Unfortunately, as I'm learning to do this, I realized after I did this that, and I made it, or started to make it, that the camera was not rolling. So I'm gonna show you the things I've already put into the bowl. The first thing is I take a 1 pound, give or take, container of meatloaf and meatball mix from the grocery store. You can pick whatever type you want. Some people prefer ground beef. I just like the meatloaf / meatball mix. It has a mixture of different meats in it. Let me see if it actually tells you. It is a blend of ground beef, pork, and veal. So FYI, don't know if you don't like any of those. I had half packages of some of these. I take a half a package of reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese. Again, any type of sharp cheddar will do. Doesn't have to be pre-shredded. 2 large eggs. I find they do not have to be beaten already. What I do with the breadcrumbs, I again do not do measurements very well. I simply do a large handful. I'll show you. That's about what I do right there. I already have a handful in there. Luckily my hands are still clean and I'm the only one that uses this. Again, half a package, this is where it gets interesting, of your traditional McCormick meatloaf seasoning package. Then I take a half a package of Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing, seasoning mix, you know, dip mix, whatever have you. So the cheese and the ranch are kind of the oddball items in there. I use just a giant bowl here to mix it up, just a plastic bowl, whatever's fine. I've preheated my oven to 375, and I also have just a typical stoneware, Pampered Chef stoneware that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna jump right into this. I've already taken my rings and watch off. In these types of videos, sorry, Scott just ran around too. In these types of videos, you will find that I tend to be more in like workout clothes or, you know, just comfortable clothes, because obviously I'm just at that stage of the day where I am cooking dinner. So when I'm just cooking dinner, I'm not dressed up and hair and makeup done and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know, there might be nights that I am, but right now it just kind of is comfortable for me, and this is the way it is. Sorry if you're also seeing the microphone down here on the right hand of my arm right over here, because I wanted to make sure you guys had the best sound possible. I did add a light right here, and I hope that is helping. I have a lot of big windows in through this part of the house, but the downside with that is it is a kind of dismal day out today. Yet another good reason to have meatloaf tonight, right? We tend to also have this with something like a salad, or tonight I think we're gonna have sweet potatoes with it. Something really simple, good home style food. I just kind of keep mixing this in. You really wanna make sure that all of those, ooh, sorry, that's loud. All of those seasoning packages really get mixed in, the cheese, the egg, the breadcrumbs, all of it. And it should be a fairly thick consistency. It's not gonna like fall apart. It's like meatloaf or a hamburger. So then I'm gonna take this into the pan and kind of form it into a loaf. You can use just a typical 9 by 10 pan. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. You can put ketchup on the top if you want. Whatever you find best. Oven's preheated already. It's ready to go. So I don't personally like ketchup on the top. I have also done it where I have put some cheese on top that was left over. Completely up to you. So that is the basics of how I make my meatloaf. It's totally weird, totally different. All right, buddy. Another thing is while I'm cooking dinner, MJ is playing. So a lot of times we're gonna have him talking during these. But that is the basis of my meatloaf. This is what it looks like. It is not gonna move because it is good, thick, and consistent. It is good and thick. I tend to pick the thinner cheese. Also, if I buy the pre-shredded cheese, I find that works better in here. Back in the day, years ago, that I have adjusted over the years to all different ways. I used to use American cheese and layer it in there. It's just a hodgepodge, honestly, but it's really good, has a lot of flavor. If your family is not meatloaf lovers, I guarantee you they will still love this. It tastes like a really, really great hamburger. So I'm gonna stick this in the oven, 375 for 1 hour, and I will show you guys what it looks like when it's done. All right, all cooked up. Some of the cheese comes out and gets a little burnt, but it looks good overall. All right, so let's see here. We are going to be now doing, it's kind of a creamy chicken with egg noodle recipe today. It is in the crock pot. It is quick and easy. It is, I used 3 or 4 chicken breasts today. I'm using 3, 2 cans of soup and some seasoning, so pretty easy. I have 3 frozen chicken breasts. They can be frozen or defrosted. I'm using a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. We have cream of chicken with herbs. You can use regular cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. It's all going in here. All right, so I generally start out by putting one of the soups, it doesn't matter which one, down on the bottom of it before I add the chicken. And this I turn on low. All right, so sometimes I use 3, sometimes I use 4 chicken breasts. These are really big ones, so I'm using 3 of them on top of the soup. I take my McCormick Montreal steak seasoning. This is what I use instead of salt and pepper. And I just kind of eyeball it. That looks about good. And then I'm gonna put the other soup in. All right, chicken and herb soup is in there. Now I'm gonna close it up and let it cook. And I just stir it a couple times throughout the day and I'll show you guys as I do it. So this is one of my kind of like go-to, like, oh no, I forgot to pull out something to defrost, or oh no, I'm not sure what we're gonna have for dinner tonight type of meals. And then I simply just cook some egg noodles, which I'll show you later. And this pulls apart kind of like a pulled chicken, and you just put it on top, and it's kind of like a Ron Reed's chicken. Do you guys remember Ron Reed's chicken when you were a kid and your mom baked it and then put Ritz crackers over top of it? That's kind of what this one is. But this is something, ideally, if your chicken is defrosted, it's gonna cook way faster, but I've got all day. It's only 8:30 right now, so I've got plenty of time to let it sit and cook all day, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right, so this is about 2 or 3 hours in. This is what it looks like. Ooh, steam. And I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. All right, I started mixing it up a little bit, and this is what it looks like, and now I'm gonna let it cook again while I'm away for the next 4 hours. All right, so here's what the chicken looks like after. It's 5:20, and I put this in at like 9 o'clock this morning. So it's kind of like pulled chicken. So yummy. These are the egg noodles that I'm getting ready to cook up, and we just put the chicken on top of these. It's really yummy. All right, so today I am making stuffed shells, and actually I bought the wrong shells. I bought large shells, and you need jumbo shells. So I'm going to be running to the store after this after I do the filling part, take my rings off now, to get the jumbo ones. I don't know why I picked up the wrong ones. First thing is 32 ounces of ricotta cheese. Any kind you like. You can also use the skim milk version, you can use part skim, whatever is easiest for you. Technically, the original recipe I think I used was like 30 ounces, but again, who cares? Same breadcrumbs that I used previously. Also, do you guys prefer, I do 2 handfuls, same as what I did before. Do you guys prefer it the way I'm doing it here, or like I did with the creamy chicken and egg noodles? So whole milk mozzarella, I prefer the whole milk one, and the whole milk of the ricotta. It's just my own choice. 2 cups or 1 bag. I go the easy way here, guys. I am not gonna lie to you. 2 eggs for this as well. Crack them in. I think the original recipe again said to beat them first. I don't bother. I just crack them in and let them go. Then I used Parmesan cheese. Again, I buy it already shredded. Parmesan cheese, as I said, I buy it already shredded. It's supposed to be, I give or take this. I can never remember how much comes in that. About a cup, give or take. Whatever feels right to you. Make sure you seal that back up because that's the one everything else we use pretty much full amounts of. I take whatever type of Italian seasoning you like. I just buy McCormick's brand. I kind of just shake it in. This one's almost empty, so I'm just gonna use all of it. Again, salt and pepper, but I personally just use the Montreal steak seasoning. Shake it on in there, however much you think you want. I just wing it. None of what I do, and then I start mixing. None of what I do is by exacts, guys. They always say, you know what I mean, like bakers are by measurements and cooks are by taste. I just eyeball almost everything I do. It's kind of funny because I'm sure, you know, there's people out there that are cringing right now when they watch this, but it's how I do it, guys. You guys are always asking about recipes, so I thought this would be a fun way to integrate them in. As I said too, if I feel like I need more of something, I kind of just wing it as I do this. I look at it. Like this to me looks like it needs more seasoning. So I'll take some more of the Montreal steak seasoning and sprinkle that in. Looks like I could use a little bit more breadcrumbs. Do about one more handful. And then mix it again. Looks like that'll be about right. I then go through and just boil the shells just like you would normally. You want them to be a little bit al dente. The instructions are on the package. Again, whatever brand, jumbo, because obviously I did that wrong, jumbo shells you want. And so now this is nice and mixed up. That's what it looks like. It should be fairly consistent. It's not gonna move around a lot. You wanna be able to grab it and really shove it in there. So now that it's at the right consistency, I am going to go run to the store to get the correct size shells, come back, and I will show you guys how I stuff them. Another thing I do, by the way, too, is I have a tendency to do one tray of shells with sauce, and I actually, when I'm baking them, put meatballs in. You can do meat sauce and brown some meat. Maybe I'll brown some meat today because I have to go back to the grocery store anyway. So get some ground beef, brown it up, put the sauce in it, and then pour it over. But I also do one small set of a few shells that are just shells stuffed with cheese and some butter on them for MJ. He does not like red sauce. I don't know why. So that's kind of how I do it from here. So when I get back, I'll show you guys how I stuff these. I'm gonna stick this in the fridge for now. All right, so getting started in this one, putting a little bit of salt in there. This is water starting to cook the jumbo shells that I now got the correct thing of. That's what jumbo shells look like versus the other ones. Set this over here. In this pan, it's just a cast iron skillet. If you guys have watched my videos for a while, you'll realize I love cast iron skillets. It's almost all I use. That was just 1 pound of ground beef. It's 99%, and again, my McCormick steak seasoning. I'm just gonna season the beef a little bit. And I'm going to cook it until it's browned and then mix in some spaghetti sauce with it. I just use a jarred spaghetti sauce, whatever the mood strikes me. Alright, so once that is all browned, I'm going to strain it out real quick, and then I am going to just pour in the sauce, and it is, the one I'm using today is just the Classico fire roasted tomato and garlic. Alright, pour that in. Anybody else make a mess while they're cooking, especially with spaghetti sauces and things? So you can see the pieces of garlic. I'm also going to take this jar and add a little bit of water to it, and it'll help mix it all in. So by adding a little bit of water in, it gets all the spaghetti sauce out of here and just cleans out the jar. So then I'm just gonna mix this in a little bit. The water's separating out of it a little bit. And then just bring this to a simmer. I've got it on medium right now. I'm gonna turn it down to low and just let it cook in a little bit for a little while the noodles are cooking. All right, as the water starts to come to a boil, you're gonna use all 12 ounces of the jumbo shells. Keyword being jumbo, because we all know I already screwed that up. I have learned to place these in there. Usually with most pasta, I just toss it all in. With these, I kind of just place them in there because I feel like these break otherwise. Now, you want to cook the whole box, even if you think you're not going to use them, because trust me, some of them are going to separate, some of them are going to crack, some of them are going to break. I just put the rest of the shells in, and then I slowly just stir them. I'm going to set a timer for about 8 or 10 minutes. I usually do 8, and then I come back and check it. Every once in a while, I kind of come through and make sure they're moving around. And then I'll strain them out. And so I'm trying to keep the lighting equal, but with the sun back there, it's a little bit difficult. I have 2 pans, both of them Pampered Chef stonewares, a bigger one and a smaller one that I'm gonna be using. I have the cheese mixture that's been in the fridge, and I couldn't show you how I strained them, but I have the shells. I cooled them off, I ran cool water over them. They should be pliable and easy to work with. And then I have the sauce over here. I'm gonna start with putting some meat sauce in on the bottom of the larger pan. So I'm just gonna do a little coating here on the bottom, kind of scraping it in. Sorry, this one's hard to show you guys because I have a cast iron skillet and a stoneware, both of which are heavy. So you just wanna kind of coat the bottom of the pan so that nothing's gonna stick to it. And it has a little bit of sauce down there, just something to give it something to stick to. Then you're gonna go through with the shells, and I'm gonna show you a couple of these. You take a shell, take about a couple spoons. Again, I am not a measurement person. I like to overstuff my shells personally. It's just how I like them. Okay, so you form them in. So I am actually taking it and putting a bunch in. Some people like them closed. I prefer to have a lot of cheese to it. I mean, I could go through and kind of pull off the top part like this. So you're gonna set them, I set them facing upwards in the pan. I just find that works better for me. So I'm gonna go through, do this with a whole bunch of them. I'll show you what it looks like. The other thing, for the pan that I'm just doing the buttered noodles on, I am gonna go through and just put I'm gonna melt down just a little bit of butter and put it on the bottom of the pan just so it has something to stick to versus sticking to the pan. Now, a good thing about these Pampered Chef stoneware type of things is the fact that they don't usually, like that and the cast iron skillet, stuff doesn't really stick to it, which is really nice. The Pampered Chef stoneware, I don't know if other brands do stoneware, maybe you guys could tell me. I will say that cast iron skillets you can get anywhere. I think mine was from, where was that? Not Pier 1, what's that called? Crate and Barrel. And by the way, it became a beautiful day today. It's like 72 degrees out today. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, so I'm gonna stick these in here. I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. I'm just gonna go through and keep going until I'm all the way filled up and show you guys the finished product before it goes in the oven. I cook these at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. I do take some of the extra Parmesan cheese and some of the extra mozzarella cheese and sprinkle it on top of the one with the sauce on it, not the other one. The one with the sauce on it before I bake them. Just gives it a little bit of, as if you need more cheese with all this, right? But it gives it a little bit of extra cheese and kind of just gives it a little bit of crispness on the top most times. Sometimes it doesn't crisp up as much, other times it does. I had a couple of shells left over, not a big deal. A bunch of them were ripped. So this is the one, it's hard to see. Oh, and they all just went rolling over. That I have a little bit of butter down in the bottom of the pan, but all the shells are facing up, so those ones will go in like that. This one here is pretty much set up with the sauce, and now I'm gonna pour the remaining sauce over it. So I have to get that cast iron skillet and kind of shake it out and onto all these shells here, and then I'll kind of mix it around a little bit. Now you don't have to put the sauce on the top. A lot of people don't like to do that. I like it. It's all personal preference. So I'm gonna take that same spatula and just kind of spread it out a little bit over top of it. I have a little bit extra mozzarella cheese. I'm gonna go through and just sprinkle some of this on top. And then a little bit of Parmesan is gonna go on top too. And we'll put some on the buttered ones too. Why not, right? What else are we gonna do with it? Have a little bit of cheese left over, so why not? I had some extras. I always have mozzarella. I always have cheeses in my house. Cheese is a must in our house. We all love it. So now a little bit of the Parmesan cheese, not as much of this. Just kind of put a little bit on this one, then a little bit on the other one, and then I'm gonna bake them for 30 minutes at 350, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. All right, this is probably an easier way to look at it. So these are the shells with the meat sauce on them, and these are the shells with simply butter underneath. Get them to bacon, and I'll show you when we're done. Good morning. Today I am getting ready to make chili. I make a turkey chili. It is the world's quickest and easiest thing ever in a crock pot. The only thing I add later is we add kidney beans and then put some cheese on top and a little bit of chopped onion, but it is so easy. All right, so today we are doing the world's easiest chili. Thing of ground turkey. I buy this already chopped. If you watch my videos, you will know I go for the easiest way out. Tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, and you can use a package of just chili seasoning, any kind, on the crock pot for the day. All right, so first thing I do is I put in a can of tomato sauce, so the bottom of this has some liquid to it. Then the turkey is next. All right, so I put the turkey meat in and the chopped peppers and onions. I use the diced, zesty, mild green chili tomatoes, and I dump those in. All right, chili seasoning mix, and then here is the strange key. I mix this up. Okay, so it sounds really weird, but you mix it up. It makes it the most finely ground chili ever. So this is what it looks like all mixed up, and now it's just gonna cook all day on low, and I'll show you it when I stop in the middle of the day and then when it's ready for dinner. All right, so this is what it looks like at 1:45, and I put it in at like I think 9 o'clock this morning. Mix it up and let it keep cooking on low. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my favorite recipes for fall right now. Let me know if you guys would rather see like a grouping of multiple different recipes, or if you'd just like to see more concise, more informative one recipe here or there. You know, I'm not gonna have 4 recipes all the time, but I'd love to hear your feedback on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. Please let me know any comments, criticisms, helpful hints, anything that you guys could see to help out with these videos would be appreciated. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.